Hello and welcome back to the channel, and it may be a bit echoey, but we're in a bit of a random room in the house that we don't really use. But today's video is going to be about how we are going to better our internet connection. Now, the house is relatively large and the router is currently placed at the far extremity of the house. Now, at the moment, I'm using these, which are powerline adapters, and to be honest, I think they're brilliant, but I think I've reached the sort of maximum of them on what we can do. So what I want to do in this video is take you through what I'm doing to better the internet, what I've currently got, and what I'm doing to make it better. Now, just a little clauses, I'm not very up on networking, so I'm reliant on what people have told me, a bit of research on the internet, and it's kind of a bit of a trial and error to see how we get on. So it's probably worth us updating this video in a couple of months' time and see how we get on. So let's get this video started. I'll show you what the setup is currently, and I've got a bit of a layout of our house on my iPad, and I can show you what we've got. So at the moment, we have a BT incoming line. This is the ground floor, by the way, on the side of the garage. The cable is then clipped all the way along the front of the garage into where that blue dot is, but it's just not practical for the router. Now, there is a secondary master socket that is in the bedroom, right on the far side of the house, as you can see at that red dot. Now, what we're finding with both that router and the routers that come with the internet is it just keeps dropping out randomly. We can't get full coverage of the house, and it's very difficult to actually use the internet. So what I decided was to put powerline adapters in. Now, these TP-Link AV600 come as part of the kit. So you have one next to the router. So we've got one there that's connected directly to the router. Then they use the home electrical wiring to send the internet data down to whatever point you need it. So if you look, you might be able to just see it there, down there. See if I can zoom in, right at the end there. And that gives off a Wi-Fi signal. It also clones your router's password and username type thing, or I forgot what it's called, the name of the router, SSID is it? Then you've got Wi-Fi sort of good coverage. Now, when we first moved in the house, we didn't really have any smart devices. So we had sort of three of them knocking around, one on the top floor, one here, and one down in the living room, just to boost the Wi-Fi. But as time's gone on, we've added items. So what I've done here in yellow are all the smart devices that we have. So our boiler is in the garage. So see if I can focus. No. So that is smart, connected with the Drayton that you've seen in a previous video. Our alarm system is on the internet. We have the outside lighting that's smart, outside lighting on the rear, which I've not actually marked up. We have a telly. We have the top floor where we're working currently. And then what else do we have? I think that's about it. And then we have the garden light in there as well. So as I have added more and more of these, it's just draining and not really doing anything. The Shelly smart devices, which I've covered in another video, the smart switches that go onto an app that I use for controlling his outside lights, they're really dropping in and out quite often. And I'm putting it down to these just taking up what I believe to be too much bandwidth, because we're just sort of adding and adding and adding. What the plan is, and what you can see here is, firstly, I've upgraded our router to something a bit better than the original. So we're with PlusNet at the moment for our internet provider. So we've replaced with that router. Then what we're going to do is add two access points. One is going to be, where are we? On the top floor there. The second one eventually will go in the dining room, and that should cover the house. So I'll just open this up and show you my understanding of what it is. So what we have here is the access point. Now what that's going to do, it's not going in here, but it's going to sit on the wall like that, and then which is going in that location up there, and then the dining room. And then all I need to do is run a Cat5 cable to plug into the back of it, and it looks quite neat. So what that'll be is a sort of second and third point to connect to the internet. So like this one's going on the top floor, so things like work laptops, phones, I will connect to them, but then it'll just boost the internet. These will be hardwired, so I need to run a cable from in here. I'll show you roughly where it goes, and then it's going to have to come up this wall into the void where the roof is, and then it's just going there. Now I've already done that because, as you can see, I've not rubbed the holes down yet, because when I ran the cables for the cameras, we're doing this room eventually, so I won't spend time doing that. So I can get up into the void. I've got little holes everywhere from when I ran the cables for the cameras. So that is what we'll be doing in this video. So the first job is to relocate the master socket that comes into the house. So I'll show you what I'm doing up here first. So we'll head outside in a moment and I'll show you that, but what I'm going to do is pop a new BT master socket in, maybe there or there, I'm not sure where. Connect up a new telephone cable, and then what I'll do is I'll show you where it goes and what it comes, but I'm going to have a new BT master socket in a more reasonable central location to the house, because now downstairs the main master socket for the house is there. Now you tell me where you put your router. Nowhere. So when we go outside, well, as you might be able to see because it's raining, that brown cable there, I hate cables clipped along your outside of your house. So what we're going to do, disconnect it there, basically pull it all the way back to where the incoming is, run it into the garage, up into the void, and then to the new location, which where I started this video is just behind that wall. So that's what we're going to do. That's going, and then we can install the new one and change the location of the router. The router's current location is a secondary point off of that master, so I am wondering if that's a contributing factor as to what's causing the problem with the internet dropping out. So I think it's time to get going. Let's get this new master socket installed, and then we can look to get the router moved and see if it improves. So when we install these, just a point that I've probably missed, they are power over Ethernet. So the router we've got, it's not just a case of connecting directly. We've got to go via this switch, which will allow the Ethernet cable basically to power that. So we'll have, this will be located here. So we'll have a cable, Ethernet cable from there to there, and then from there to that one, and all the others. Now, what I'm hoping is by doing this is we may only have one or two of these knocking around the house if needed. I'm hoping they're not needed and I can just sort of bin them off, but they are very good, I must say. So we'll see how we get on. Let's get this all installed and take it from there. Starting in here, excuse the mess, it's a room we don't use, but it's turning into our master bedroom eventually. So as you can see, downstairs on the outside is where the BT comes in. We're going to bring it into the garage, which is below this room, up there, and then I've got various holes cut in the wall so I can run the cable. Now them holes are from when I did the CCTV, so handy to keep as long as you're not, you know, in a finished room. So I have just left these so I can do it. So basically in the void behind this wall, I'll be running the new telecoms cable, another hole down there, another hole there, and then the telecoms cable will end up there. So I'm going to start at this end, get the new cable all ran in, ready to just change it over at that end at the point outside, and then we'll take it from there. That should, once we've made the connection outside, that should be the internet ready to go really. So let's get going, get these master socket installed and the cable, and take it from there. And there we have it. So we've got the new BT master socket in the centre of the house now. New socket in. Didn't show the socket actually, I didn't explain. That just magically appeared because it's not a DIY job. So that was done off camera. But we've got that in the centre of the house. We've got all the lights that we want to see. And then something interesting I've noted is we're getting 55 megabytes download and 12 upload. Now, when we look at the results, there 3 I've done today. But then when you look at the others, now I'm going to try it later on, but like there, similar time, 3:30, what are we on now? 2:10, and we're getting 32. So I'm not sure if that's a thing, that you can gain sort of 10-15 megabytes from being at the first socket. So as it were before, the master socket the router was in was actually the second. So if you like, potentially there's a chance they were running all the way around the house because we've got telephone points everywhere. So whether that was draining anything, I've no idea, but I won't grumble at them results. That's improved it massively. So what we'll have to do is just take it from now and see how we get on. Now we've moved the router further away from the TV because that is in the centre of the house. So if we look here, we've basically moved the router from there, which is kind of above that yellow dot, to there. So that should help us round this area. Really pleased with how that's turned out, and if the speed is true to what we can see down there, then even better. So excuse the messy wires for now. I need to get a shorter one of them. And then what I'm going to do now is just try and find the alarm cable and the CCTV cable so I can just get them plugged in and ready to go. So yeah, success so far. So crack on, try and get these Ethernet ones through, and then I can mount the brush outlet ready until we do a bit more probably. So in the dining room, we're going to have one either up there or up there. Now this I'm literally just walking around the house with, and we even get, as you can see outside, we get 2 bars back at the wall with having this in here. So originally I was gonna, this is the second one, and I was gonna mount that, but what puts me off is having them 3 ports visible. So TP-Link do some nicer looking access points. They're ceiling mounted ones, but I presume you can mount them, say, up there on the wall out of the way. And what that'll do is that'll give us full coverage in the living room, full coverage up to this side of the kitchen, and sort of look after the whole living area, if you like, and even capture out there in the garden. So we've got internet out there. So what I'm going to do now is get the one installed upstairs, and then I'll have to order a new one for that, but I could probably run the cable. I'll try and capture it on camera, but as I've said, it's not the easiest. So let's get going, get these installed, and then we've got good internet. There we have it, the first TP-Link access point, pretty much there. So I just need to terminate the cable with some RJ45 type connectors, and then plug it in and then run the rest of the cable. So been a bit tricky getting it up here, but I've brought two cables up so I can start looking to get the other one down into the dining room. So I'm going to carry on, get this terminated, get it plugged in at this end, and then we can get it plugged in at the other end, and that's this one done. And then we can just patch up these, which aren't a problem. I've already got holes everywhere for this reason. And then when we decorate, we'll get them all finalised. So let's carry on and get this one working, and then move on to the dining room. And there we have it. So first access point is installed on the top floor, as you can see just there, and now we're getting full 5 gigahertz is it, and 2.4 all on the top floor. Before, the phone wouldn't even connect on the top floor to the Wi-Fi, so I think that's a good job done. Now what we need to do now is get the one that's going sort of over there downstairs. Now I'm not going to run this cable on camera because it's going to be a nightmare, because what I need to do is, as you can see, 2 cables went up there and across. So this is the cable, and I'm going to have to cut a hole in the floor, probably come down this wall here, go under the floor here, under the wardrobe, and run it along the ceiling downstairs to above the point that it's going in. So it's going to be a nightmare. So I'll not do that on camera, but generally that's the gist of what we've done. You've got to excuse the wiring mess here. Until I've finished, I'll sort all this out, get a nice little cabinet for it, and neaten it all up. But just to review what we've done, so we've got as router, we've got a cable from there to a PoE, power over Ethernet switch, and then there's a cable that runs from there to the access point, and then all access points are on the same SSID as the router. So as you're walking around, the phones and the laptops, iPads and things are just moving and connecting to the different devices, increasing the coverage of the home. At the start of the video, we moved the router in here from the other side of the house, just to give it a more central point. Now, we are about 3 weeks since I did that, as we had a little baby boy born a couple of weeks ago, so it put a bit of halt on this now. Moving the router has tremendously improved the internet, and things like the camera connection, the alarm system connection, the heating system connection, everything's just so much better. So by introducing these access points, that'll allow us a bit more remote coverage for Wi-Fi. So yeah, let's crack on and get the rest of these access points installed. So, as you remember, router is in here. Then we've gone, this is the other end of the cable. So eventually we'll come down this wall through like the other one. So we've gone up into the void, up here. We've gone through here, and that's where the other TP link is. Let me get up here. So the other TP link there. So we've come under the floor here and gone down the wall there. So I've cut under this carpet, a hole was cut, but I've supported it again. And then we've gone down this stud wall. So the hole was up there. We've gone down the stud wall into the nursery, under the floor there, and the joists luckily run the correct way. So we've gone along the floor and then down into the walk-in wardrobe, the cable. So as you can see there, that's the cable. I'm going to leave that loop in just so we've got some spare. And then we've gone straight through the joist. Bit of a pain to get the angle to go down the wall because this joist is up against a breeze block wall. But we've got it using the cable tongue, and then we've gone down, and then that's where we've come out. That plasterboard down there is the ceiling of the dining room. So yeah, quite a good effort really with that run. Really tricky. Now I did have a bit of a mishap. I'll not show you the goriness, but I'll just pop a little picture in. But unfortunately we had a little injury yesterday, no, the day before, using the drywall knife. I put it on the floor and then knelt on it. So I've got 2 staples in my knee, and but we've got to press on because we've got to get it done. So now that's the cable down there. I'm going to finish off buttoning up the dining room, get that all connected up, finished, and then we'll look to get this cable in. I might not show it because you've seen enough, and this is about improving the Wi-Fi. So I'm going to crack on, get it all buttoned up, and then we'll take it from there. Yeah, and then eventually all these holes very easily filled, and it'll probably, I might do another video on that, just on how I'm filling these holes. So we've got holes in the stud wall, holes on a breeze block wall, so I should be able to show you the difference. So I'm going to run downstairs, get all that buttoned up, and then we'll get this finished and all connected up. And there you have it. The access point is in, and actually quite nice and subtle up there. So I think I mentioned earlier, a bit concerned over how subtle it would be. But to be honest, as you're walking through in passing, you would never notice it. And so that's up and running. We've got the green LED on. I believe I can turn that off. So if you don't want the green on, the other access point upstairs has a white LED, which would look better. So I don't know if I can change colour. It'd be nice if I could, but we'll have a look at that another time. So with that installed, we've now got full 5G, 5 gigahertz and 2.4 downstairs as well now. So just as a demonstration, I put YouTube on, 4K video, and it fully loaded straight away. Just as a test, I disconnected this access point and it started buffering. So I think that easily demonstrates the coverage. We've got coverage all downstairs, and then also I've gone up to the top of the garden and we get 2 bars of Wi-Fi up at the wall as well. So to me, I'd say that's a success. So what I'll do now, I'll just nip upstairs, get the boxes together and show you a bit of an overview of what products we used, and we'll close out the video there. So what we've got here, what we've installed is, first of all was moving the router to the centre of the house. Immediately we increased our coverage and speeds as well, changing this to onto the first sort of master socket and an incoming socket. Then what we've done, we've added in a PoE switch. Now what that's done is we've got a Cat5 or Ethernet cable from there to power this, and then that gives a power over Ethernet to each access point. So we've got one of these on the top floor up there, and then we've got this one, a bit more decorative, in the dining room, and these are connected by Cat5e cable that, as you've seen, I've ran around the house. So yeah, bit of a full-on job. It's actually took me a total of 4 weeks from start to finish this video, but as I explained, we did have a baby in between, which took up 3 weeks of that. So yeah, we've cracked on, got it done, and then now it's just a case of filling the holes. Yes, it looks unsightly. Yes, if you've got a nicely decorated house, you might not want to do that. But in our instance, this is completely getting renovated up here and redecorated, all the architrave coming off. So me fixing these by just putting a bit of plasterboard in and then skimming over it is not a deal at all. So yeah, that's what we've done in this video. We have got full house coverage right from that point right to the back of the garden up there, and we have Wi-Fi everywhere, and we get about 55 megabytes download, which, yeah, not the best, but it's the best we can get in the rural setting that we are. So I hope you found this video very useful, and any questions, please do pop them down below. I can't promise I can answer them, but hopefully the community can come together and answer the questions and support what I've done here. So I've used all TP-Link products, only reason being I find them pretty easy to use for my knowledge base, and I already had a TP-Link router, so it just made sense to sort of keep with the theme. There is other products out there. I've bought all these, it's not gifted or anything like that. So yeah, that's what I've used, and I'm sure people will comment telling me there's better out there, but this works for me. We get all the coverage we need now. Every point of the house is covered, and all the smart devices are now working. So yes, big thumbs up from me, really pleased with it. And yeah, I think we'll leave this video here. So I'll probably do a part 2 once I've fully set these up. Now these are set up and working, and I've put the same SSIDs on all the access points, so it just switches as we roam around the house. But yeah, once I understand a bit more of it, I'll probably do a bit of an update video later on with that and the security aspect. So yes, thank you for watching. Please do make sure you give it a thumbs up, and please make sure you do subscribe if you're not already, and head over to Instagram, the_DIY_journey for more day-to-day updates as we renovate our house. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.